Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pierce Gaming News. Well, I guess the PS4 and Xbox One have raised PC system requirements. Yeah, okay. The Xbox One and PS4 are very similar. They both have processors based on AMD's Jaguar x86 processor architecture, and both have graphics chips delivered from AMD Radeon parts. Games designed for the new consoles have access to far more video memory than mid-range computers, and that's starting to cause problems for PCs apparently. I'm not even sure. Assassin's Creed Unity recommended specs call for 3 gigs of video memory and 8 gigs of RAM. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare recommends 4 gigs of video memory and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And Far Cry 4 is more forgiving, eating only 2 gigabytes of video memory, but that's still 4 times the recommendation for Far Cry 3. I'm not sure if this author realizes this, but those recommended settings are usually just way off in what you actually need, most of the time anyways, unless the game was actually designed for PC. But textures can be appreciated at a glance. The gameplay mechanics that strain a CPU are subtle, and they include artificial intelligence, physics simulations, and off-screen interactions. Shadow of Mordor includes a nemesis system that tracks enemy characters even when they're not near the player. This feature is so demanding that it's disabled completely in the game's 360 and PS3 release. Kinda obvious, the 360 and PS3 are like 8 years old, so yeah, there's that. Alright, well, the operating system for both consoles I believe is either around 3 to 4 gigs of RAM to run. So really, it's around 4 gigs to run the game. I have 4 gigs of RAM in my laptop, so yeah. I don't think that it takes 8 gigs of RAM to run those games Ultra settings. I played Far Cry 4 on Ultra on my PC with absolutely no issues. Yeah, there was a little bit of lag here and there, but it wasn't anything noticeable. Granted, my graphics card is a few years old, and my PC has 12 gigs of RAM and an AMD 6950 GPU, which I believe now is selling for like $100. It was like a $300 card back in like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's just $100 now. I can run games on Ultra settings still. Far Cry 4 lists a quad-core as a minimum requirement, and many owners of dual-core processors have reported the game won't even launch. I have not heard of this problem, but dual-cores are dying. That's just basically a fact. Everyone wants a quad-core PC now. If you have a dual-core, it's kind of outdated. I don't believe that consoles raise PC requirements at all, but if it is like a Ubisoft game, it's basically just a console port most of the time. I'm not going to say 100% of the time. And take little to no power to run on a decent gaming rig. So basically, these consoles did not do anything. I don't know what this guy was thinking. For those of you that say PC is way more expensive than console gaming, it's really not. A 2 gigabyte video card is now mediocre at best, and a decent quad core is almost mandatory. I believe my graphics card is a 2 gigabyte, if I can remember right. I have not updated it since I got my PC, which is in like 2012 or so. But it can get expensive to build a PC. I will not even deny that one bit. It can get extremely expensive if you're just a casual gamer and don't really care much about graphics. I would suggest buying a CyberPower or just any really decent pre-built computer. They have some that you can buy for around $700 to $750. That might sound like a lot of money, but it's really not. After it's all said and done, you will spend way more than that on a console. Don't believe me? Alright, let's say you have a PS4. You buy games new, maybe 3 a year. That's $400 right there. Plus $180 for the 3 games. I'm going off just 3 brand new games a year. We're up to $580. But now you want a Sony headset. You get the gold one for $100. Now we're up to $680. But wait, you want a camera for live streaming on the PS4. That's another $60. We're at $740. Oh yeah, and now you can't play online with your friends because you need PlayStation Plus. That's another $50. That's a total of $790 just for 1 year of gaming. I mean, granted, the headset and camera will last longer than that. But if you didn't want the camera, it's still going to be really expensive. But then, I guess, on the flip side, people will be like, oh, well, you still have to buy games for it. Well, yeah, you do. But these games aren't $60, especially on the Steam sales, like the summer, winter, autumn, and I think there's a spring sale. So, really, you're paying next to nothing for these games. Like I said, I got Saints Row 4 Century Edition, Saints Row 3, Saints Row 2, and all the DLC for those 3 games. I believe I got that like a month or 2 ago. I got that for $13.79. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. That's like a quarter of the price of an actual game. They had Assassin's Creed. They have an autumn sale going on right now. They have Assassin's Creed for $20. It was $40. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So yeah, games are like half off to 75% off, even like 90% off, and it's a way better deal to do that than you get usually more than one game. But sometimes if it's still like a newer game like that, it's still a good deal. Yeah, so honestly, PC gaming isn't that expensive when you think about it. It's really not. I mean, it might feel like it's a lot of money, but graphics cards and stuff don't go out of style that quick. I think $750 is still relevant. You can play a lot of games with that. So that's just basically just a defense for the console gamers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing on my console. Don't get me wrong there. I love my console, but when they say stuff like that, like, oh, PC is expensive and it can do a million more things than your console can, I'll tell you that much. Plus, I feel like it's almost cheaper to buy a PC right now than to buy a console, my opinion. So yeah, basically this article is just PC gamers to have comment wars with console gamers and saying, oh, PC master race, yada yada. Just play what you guys like. I don't really care what it is. I love playing on my console, like I said, but I love PC a little bit more just because you can do a million more things. I love playing PS4 with my friends and everything, but as of right now, PC is where it's at, to be honest. Alright guys, that's all the news I got for you today. Make sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.